Good afternoon, everyone. Serotonin. I have been trying to share this with you all day, this document, and I might have found a time that this might work. So this is a reference material share. I've been going to this website a little bit lately, especially in my videos. Actually, funnily enough, I go to them almost exclusively for my videos at the moment. And it's actually because I've just been having a bit of fun looking around and realizing that this website that I used to go to quite a lot a long time ago is actually hosting a lot of really amazing supportive evidence for the stuff that I'm interested in now. Like, suppressed inventions, suppressed history, and different things like that, maps, architecture, whatnot. So I really wanted to just for those of you who are interested in the research material and doing videos yourselves, please do come and check this. I'm going to put the link below, The Unusual and Marvelous Maps. I believe I found it under history. You will find some good, some classics. I know we've all seen this one before. Very often when you click on them, they will enlarge or give you options to enlarge, and then some of them don't. So I apologize in advance for any ones that don't enlarge. I didn't, create the article myself, so I'm not really to blame. However, if I am offering this up as a, research material, then, that is a little bit frustrating. I do also want to point out for those of you that are new, I am going to go through a lot of these maps, like for those of you not new, but the ones that are, well, I guess a little bit new to the subject matter, but also people who don't do the research themselves. I will go through the maps because there's some really beautiful pieces in here. And I also want to just, my theory, and I know it's not mine standalone. A lot of people believe in this as well, that anything pretty much dating after the 1500s has been largely manicured to keep us ignorant. And I just wanted to go back to this just for a minute. So we have the three, the big continents of the time, so Asia, Africa, and Europe. This to me looks like, a very, well, it's symbolic of the Trinity. And I've talked about this a little bit, I've alluded to it a little bit in videos, that my belief is that the Trinity that we're supposed to be worshiping when we are good Christians or what have you, is not actually anything to do with good holiness. That we have, well, first of all, I feel that we've been tricked to worship a God that is not source God, but one that has been self-proclaimed, because I don't understand how anyone would want human sacrifice, especially own children sacrifice. Like, that just makes no sense to me why God would require that. So anything that comes out of that kind of thing, like Trinity or whatever, I believe it's the worship of the state, not anything holy. And this is something I'm doing a lot of research on. The Guelph Black Nobility line, the Titanic, how it ties into the Pacer family, and also Ferris wheels. And there's a big, believe me, there's a big video coming up soon. I'm just trying to get it all sorted in my head. But anyway, basically what I've got going on here is what I'm alluding to is that the Trinity, which has, it's been largely sort of unsurfaced lately, that the Venetians or / Phoenicians are largely the people who we call the parasites, and they're the ones who took over Venice. So they were the ones who named Venice. They're not actually necessarily Italian. We don't exactly know. I'm still trying to trace the lineage here. But basically they, what I'm getting at here is their mandate was to worship the state, not anything holy that's manifest or even in spirituality. So they worship the concept of state as opposed to actual borders. So they worship bureaucracy, democracy. Anyway, okay, moving on. So this is a map that's very well known and loved, and when you click on it, you don't really get much more than that. So like I said before, some of them do magnify and some of them don't. Now this one is absolutely beautiful. I just wanted to show this one. a little bit. So this would be Asia up here. This is India here. This is Africa. This would be South America, and then the very sort of the tips of North America there, and some islands in the Caribbean. I believe that would probably be Florida down there. I just want to show you. Okay, so that's a beautiful compass rose, but look at the detail on Africa. So there's Jerusalem. There's most likely Constantinople as Rome. And then, yeah, if you just go around almost the whole of Africa, I mean, look at the detail on that. That's truly incredible. So, very beautiful Afrocentric map, highly detailed, absolutely beautiful. And there's some details down in here as well. They've given you some. Oh, it just goes back to the same. Okay, so it's just the details for the sake of the article. So here we go. Yeah, so Pietro Coppo, 1520. So this is when we're starting to have the more manicured maps around this time. I don't know if this one is or not. But I would just like to point out that basically port authorities would take any documents, maps, everything, books, anything spoils of war that was literature or written on paper, and they would copy it, keep the originals, and return the copies to whoever they took it from. So who knows who's to say what got changed. Allegedly, all of those original documents were in the library in Alexandria, which got burned down, but there's also people that like to believe that nothing, they would not have destroyed that. So that's got to be either in, the seed bank in Antarctica, or somewhere in the Vatican, or underground cave facilities. I have no idea. So who knows where any of that stuff is, actually. And then here we are. Here's Venice. And so, yeah, the Guelph line, which if you're Canadian, you would know that word is Guelph. Ontario is named after the Guelph family that apparently are just absolutely brutal black nobility, so sort of mafioso type family. And these go way back, like 1,000 years, maybe more. So anyone who's researching, I'm going to be looking more into Venice for sure, and the Venetians/Phoenicians, who are basically the Canaanites. So they're the same group. If you look at their worship and their practice and how they operate, it's sort of, yeah, that's what gives it away. So Carta Marina from 1539. This is really beautiful. Islandia. I don't know if that's part of the one near Friesland, but it looks like it could be part of that area. I'm not really seeing this properly. It's all broken up too, like it's done out in strips. There's Lapland, Lapia, Finmarchia. That's Scythia, maybe? I don't know. Nope, that doesn't look right. Anyway, here's another similar one showing sea monsters around Iceland. So some of these are just really fantastical and amazing. Apparently there's a link here. I'm just going to go to a little bit here. So this is all kinds of maps, including sea monsters. So if anybody's interested in that, that's just the link right here in this article, which of course I'll be linking to all of this. And a lot of people, I love this, the Sea Serpents of Buffalo Land, North America, 1872. I've done a video already, I think it's called Little Old Shack, and it's about the Buffalo Order in Canada, and how odd that is. And then I'm just wanting to point out like how many of these are what we would call dinosaurs. And I've been kind of onto the whole dinosaur thing for a little while. It's pretty convenient. It's a good seller. It's something that we really push the narrative on in a huge, huge way. It sort of destroys the Garden of Eden because they don't talk about dinosaurs in there, so it has a multi-purpose thing. But I think that essentially there was a lot of bones. We know there were giants in North America, and for those of you that are like, what? I don't know. There's lots of giant videos out there that are excellent. Maybe I'll put in a couple of links in the description box for one. But essentially, the Smithsonian came in and took all of the bones away and covered up all of the mounds and put, a lot of national parks were created around areas where lots of giants used to live. And so I think that I used to think dinosaurs were just a hodgepodge of just a bunch of bones that they put together. And just called it a dinosaur. And I mean, I was fully bought onto the whole. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I was born awake. I absolutely went through the dinosaur phase with my kids. And about 2 years ago, I actually watched a video. It was Eric Dubay, who's the flat Earth. He's sort of the big dude for flat Earth, and he did this whole one on dinosaurs, and I actually found it really compelling. And it's more of a situation of like, prove to me that he doesn't have, like, that's a good theory, and prove to me that that's wrong. So I'm neither here nor there about dinosaurs. And then I see this: sea serpents of Buffalo Land, North America. How fascinating. Because the interesting thing about dinosaurs is they were theorized merely 10 years before they were originally found, and now they're just finding them like crazy. Whereas before, how were they finding them? And then when you tie in the whole mud flood theory or liquefaction theory, where the earth, via ways of underground tunnels becomes liquefied and buildings can then sink. So this is a manner of which they can erase histories and populations and whole peoples. So I'm not sure how that fits in with animals and extinction. I'd actually love to work on something like that with Mick from Rebel Without a Pause, because he's done some great stuff, and I totally support his liquefaction theory. I think he's onto something big time there. Anyway, here we go. The sea serpents of Buffalo Land. So fascinating stuff. More beautiful pictures of sea serpents. Just some great stuff. These guys never cease to impress me with their visuals. They actually have a section, I think it's called Visual Caffeine. Okay, so here we go. Various incarnations of the land down under, including Antarctica. So lots of beautiful maps. I wonder, so much stuff going on there, hey? Oh, and there's another land right there. That's interesting. And it's not going to let me mag in. Okay. Well, that's too bad. Okay, so for those of you that are interested, take a look at that one. No, what is this one? Terra Australis. Oh no, here, the Orbis Terra Compendosia Descriptio. Very interesting. Yeah, 1587. Was that part of it there? Oh no, that's a totally different one. Okay. And then there we have some details, some allegorical, some mimetic allegory. You think memes are just an invention of, Twitter or Instagram, but they're not. Memes have been around for a long time. It's part of how they imprint their laws, quote unquote, unto us. Jove, Hova, right? From Greek mythology. Jehovah, anyone? Hova, Hjove. I'm getting so much stuff from reading kids' books right now and mythology and stuff. It's incredible how much I'm learning from reading mythology at the moment. New Canada. This I love. Oh my God, I'm in love with this. Totally different way of looking at my country. New France, Canada, Terra Incognita, and this is of course where Quivira. Here we go. Look how big Quivira was. People say Norumbega. I'm gonna do a whole thing on Norumbega. Oh my gosh, that ties into the whole Pacer family, and geez, there's so much. Anyway, this is a fantastic map. Just incredible. Okay, and then here we go. Alternate history and hypothetical maps. Okay, this I find very interesting. So this is where we do stuff like, oh, what if, Hitler hadn't lost the war, which we now know, they never did. They were actually set up way ahead of time. And that's something I'm gonna talk about in my Norumbega video, the big one that's coming up. But they had everything, all the ways that they were able to acquire spoils of war in North America ahead of time. It was all set up. You know, they had everything, port authorities, they had the entire system was ready to go for human trafficking, for the trafficking of opiates, for produce, for the destruction of entire villages and cities. Everything was ready to go before they set foot in North America at any point. So, and I mean that at any point. So before the First World War, the Second World War, every step they took, it was already set in place for the next step to be made public and for them to carry that out. So here we have all these alternative maps, these alternative histories. Very interesting. Orwell's 1984, the map used. The proposed 38 states. It's very interesting. Oh, please. Vodka. Genuine map of Mexico in 1824. Lost an enormous amount of land. Enormous amount of land to the US. And we also know, to the United States, but we also know that, and I've actually covered this in one of my videos prior, that Russia owned California for a time. Okay, and this is the division of colonial Africa. British Empire in the 1920s. The UK is a person on a fish. Very odd. And here we go, some more sort of anatomical, not anatomical, what do they call it? I can't remember the word I'm looking for. Anyway, satirical, anyway. And this I find very interesting because there's a whole thing on the, now what is it, the Roth's Octo map. There's a much more famous one. It's interesting how many restaurants show up in this. Here it is. Oh, come on. I think I have it in another one. Hang on. Where is it? Is that it? Nope. Nope. Boop-a-doo. I'm giving away all the stuff I'm doing in another one. There it is. The English octopus, sorry, the Rothschilds, feeds on nothing but gold. So I just find that interesting. That in this one, you know, they're like, ah, no. Here we go. Nope. Russia's the octopus. Wow, that was quite a dance around the internet, hey? And here we go again. Russia. Happy little octopus, it seems. This is an interesting one. Europe from Moscow. Oop. That's pretty cool. And then this is superimposing a modern political map with Lord of the Rings. Lots of stuff. Upside down world. Reversed map showing land where the oceans are supposed to be. And then there is a second part to this. I'm just going to continue on for the sake of those of you who won't be necessarily using them for research. So this is possibly your one opportunity to have a look that you will think of, unless you, of course, want to click on it any other point. Sea monsters from 1550, the variety, giant lobster, terrifying. That guy wearing, he's like, looks like he has a little crown on his head. I wonder if any of them are the Nummo. Oh, that guy. It's like a cat with steam coming out the top of its head. Kind of a panther looking. There's another one. That would be the North African near Sicily sea monster. And this one's just chock full of them. You got lots of different ones in the various places. Watch out for here though. That's North America. It looks like they really don't want people over here. Here we go. Vintage map from Southeast Asia from the mid 17th century, looking rather grand. You've got the globe, the Antiquitech here, all these compass roses all over the place. And I'm very interested to know why they have these center points all over around here. Very interesting. This archipelago, I don't know that one at all. Masonic babies. You got Isis and a knight intertwined. You know, you got your snakes there. These are not good people. Oh, there we go. So this is the Mercator. This is a beautifully famous map. Everybody seems to love this one right now. This is showing Mount Meru and the 4 islands surrounding it. Friesland is in there. This is apparently what it actually looks like. This one, I have definitely seen this one a lot too. Beautiful. Deglaciated Antarctic topography, or so they say. Language map of Europe. This is kind of cool. And this is the Habsburg Empire of 1911. This I am going to save. And save. Alright, thanks for chilling out with me for that. I hope. Individual states shown here in the Holy Roman Empire of 1789. Sorry, guys. There we go. If I save it as letters and numbers, I'm never going to remember what it is. Huh. Wasn't that interesting? What? Okay. What is going on there? Okay. Okay, so that is the US flying the flags of countries with equal population to each state. Okay, that just freaked me right out. Okay. That's Australia superimposed over Europe. And this is all population stuff, which could be very interesting to you guys. So, number of inhabitants per doctor. Huh? Fanciful figures. Soccer legends according to their country. This is somebody's idea of just a Russian professor's prediction based on how the US will split. Oh, continue to part 3. Wowzers. Personified maps. And you know what? There's tons of these. These ones where they fit in, you know, shapes and pictures. This is interesting. Not quite a mythical kingdom, Oh, Mel Chatterley. Okay, this is interesting. Shows a part of the world that certainly proved to be non-existent as early explorers searched for the Northwest Passage. So, non-existent country. Hanging on to that one. Types of beer. Okay. Heart, the dogs do bark. Oh, political maps. I'm sure they're exciting and interesting, and I should be looking at them. Anyway, guys, this looks to be quite exciting. Plans for Africa in 1917, or so they say. Asia from Irkutsk. That's kind of cool. And these would be, what is this? Something to do with the the Dutch beer tycoon Freddie Heineken divided up Europe into different equal numbered states of people. How strange. And then Europe without Germany. How interesting. This was created after 1945. Just some weird stuff, man. View of the US from Japan, the maps. What's this? Oh my gosh, depicting gangland in Chicago? What? Holy. That is nuts. Book publishing, population. All right, guys. That's it. That's my treat. I'm putting this into the description box below. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Stay warm.